just rest her voice for the next roughly hour and a half.
She pipes up sometimes. Are you ready? Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to Lay It Out, the No Bullshit Science podcast.
With extra bullshit.
I'm Kiri.
I'm Alice.
And she's Jamalza. What is wrong with you?
I don't know. That came out really quiet.
It did.
Extra bullshit, in case you didn't hear that.
Okay.
There. They all know.
How are you, Alice?
I'm good. I've decided whenever anyone asks me how I am now, I say, I'm great. And if I am great at the time, I'm telling the truth. If I'm not, I'm being witty and sarcastic.
How long did you spend thinking about this?
Not that long. It just kind of it occurred to me one morning. Because everyone always asks you how you are. And I find it a really stressful question these days. Sorry.
Do you know what? I agree. I just tell people I'm alright now.
I hate the word fine. Really,
oh yeah, fine's bad.
Fine's not good.
Yeah. So Alice and I did a little experiment this week, which we wanted to tell everyone about.
Which Curry wants to tell everyone about. Can I just disclaimer?
So we measured our transit time, which is the time that it takes for something to move through your whole digestive system and come out the other end. And we did this using blue muffins. So I posted this on my Instagram, so if anyone is following me on Instagram, they'll have seen it. It's literally, we had to eat these 2 muffins, which were dyed bright blue, like Smurf
blue.
And it was such a nice blue.
It is quite a nice blue.
It's
on the
really
outside,
nice.
On the outside, it's kind of a rank, not nice blue, but that's because it's like a slightly browned blue.
It's from when it's been baked.
But in the middle, it's like a beautiful blue.
It's a really blue.
Electric blue, you might call it.
Yeah,
Stunning.
yeah. And we ate it.
And we waited, and some of us waited longer than others. And
so, Alice, what's the average transit time?
Between 10 hours and 5 days.
Which is...
Oh, no, sorry, that's not average, that's normal.
Normal?
That's the normal range, is anything
normal
between 9 hours and 5 days. But I have to disclaimer because people are going to be like, what? You go every 5 days? It's like, normally, your transit time could be 5 days, but you will go several times within that 5 days.
It's just that one thing.
But for one thing to go through your whole digestive system can take 5 days.
Okay, so...
And that is normal.
So what's average?
So average is a bit weird because there's like, if you see on like a graph of transit times, or I actually think this is still frequency, so it's slightly different. But there's like a peak at once a day, so a lot of people go once a day, but then there's another peak at twice a day, so a lot of people also go twice a day. But I mean, it's extremely varied.
Yeah, and especially depending on what's going on with you.
Yeah,
at
and
that
like
time.
Yeah, what you've eaten, how stressed you are, how much water you've drank.
Yeah. If you're on which part of the
menstrual
cycle,
everything.
So normal is 10 to 70 hours, right? 10 to 60 hours.
No, 10 to 5 days.
What's 5 days? 120
something hours.
100 and what's 5 times 24? 116. 120. What?
24 by 5.
Okay. 120. I don't do maths.
Okay.
So 10 to 120 hours is normal.
Yes.
Yep. Both of us were abnormal.
Hey, no, I was normal.
So my transit time. So we measure our transit. If you haven't guessed already, you measure your transit time by when you see the blue again. So you'll take a blue poo.
Which Curry took a photo of, can I just say.
And also, it comes out green, not blue. And mine was 8 hours.
Yeah, yours was ridiculous.
Yeah. It was super fast.
We have a WhatsApp group and Curry was like, 8 hours in capital letters.
Yeah.
And we all knew what she was talking about because, you know, it was all over the Instagram story.
It was.
The whole office knew.
I'm actually really proud of my transit time.
Can I also say disclaimer as someone who researches this, using blue food dye is not a validated measure. It is a low cost option that is being used in a few studies at the moment. But the only papers I think that I've actually investigated in research have been in cats.
If it's good enough for a cat.
I mean, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
It measures something.
So Alice, what was your transit time?
4 days.
4 days?
No, I didn't say that.
4 days.
What are you talking about?
It was 4 days, ladies and gentlemen, which according to Alice is now normal. So Silent Jamalza said that there was a paper in the 80s who they found the average transit time was 53 hours, but that's a bit sketchy.
And it's also in the 80s, so our diets are really different. And
Yeah.
we're also a lot more anxious and stressed these days. Other interesting things that happened. You were in Budapest.
Yeah, I went to Budapest. It was really good. We didn't have much time there, which is such a shame. We only had...
It was a whistle-stop tour.
Yeah, we had... Really, the time we had was a day and a half, which was not enough for Budapest.
No.
Unfortunately. We did a walking tour. We did a communism walking tour, which was fascinating. And then we went to all the ruin bars, obviously. And we went to Simplica, which is the one that everyone says you need to go to. And it's like voted the 3rd best bar in the world or something, right? And it is amazing. It's really good. It's really,
One of
really
our
cool.
guests is really emphatically nodding her head and her eyebrows
Yeah.
and basically in her hairline. So
It's really
she agrees.
cool. Like, I would go back to Budapest just to go back to Simplica. It's really cool.
So I went to Budapest when I was 20, maybe 20. Yes, 20.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed in like we stayed in just like one of those party hostels, but it was in kind of a dodge area and we didn't really explore too much. So I didn't have a very good opinion of it, but you've made me want to go back.
We should both go back together.
Yeah.
And we should stay in the Airbnb that I stayed at because one, it was in the most perfect location. It was 20-minute walking distance to everything. And it was cheap. And it's really cute. And you were at home, you went to Ireland.
I went to Ireland, yeah. It was nice.
Yeah.
I stayed out till 6 a.m. Sorry, that makes me sound like a loser, which I am. So, can I tell the story?
If we have any young people listening, this is what all people sound like.
So I was at home. We went home. Me and my sister went home from Thursday to Sunday. And on Saturday night, me and my sister and my brother, who are both younger than me. My sister's 2 years younger than me, and my brother is 5 years younger than me. So we were all going out, and I made a joke before we left the house, being like, oh yeah, I've still got it, I'm going to be the last one home. Like, classic cringy elder sister joke to make. But then I had a few drinks and I decided to take my cringy joke a bit seriously and ended up being the last one home. I was delighted with myself.
I'm very proud of you, Alice.
I didn't wake up till 2 p.m, which is, I haven't done that in ages. I'm lucky if I can sleep past 9 these days.
That's true.
And then it was such a contrast to this Sunday because for some reason I woke up at 7:20. I felt like I'd lived a whole day and I looked at the clock and I was like, last weekend I wasn't even awake at this time.
Can I trump
I am a granny.
Can I trump your getting home at 6:30?
Oh, but yeah,
I got home at 8:30 the other day.
I'm curious and I stay out till 8:30.
Only because I stayed up to watch the fight. Which
I-
was so good. So good. And no one here, do you guys watch the fights?
Which is really funny because we're all Irish.
Yeah.
And none of us watched it.
It was your
I watched the
boy.
highlights
It was
the next
McGregor.
day.
I'm glad he lost. I'm sorry if you haven't watched it yet.
If they haven't watched it yet, they're probably not going to.
No, he lost in the 4th round by submission.
Which means that...
With a neck crank.
Yeah.
With a neck crank.
It looked sore.
The thing is, when we were watching it, well, one, Khabib dominated the whole fight. Like, McGregor did not stand a chance. And then at the end, when Conor tapped out, it didn't really look like he was being choked that hard. So it looked like he was definitely had his arm around his neck, so you're like, okay, he's choking him. But it didn't look like he had his arm completely under his neck. So we were all a bit like, oh, Conor McGregor's pussied out. Why is he tapping out already?
But is it more not that he couldn't get out of it?
No. So,
Oh.
but then when you watch it on slow-mo, so they don't even call it by submission by choking, it's submission by neck crank. And you can see he's literally twisting his neck to the side from underneath. And we were like, okay, fine. Because one movement and that is literally how you die.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, he was not far off from having his neck broken.
Oh, fuck.
It was good.
Yeah, he's a bit of a gobshite.
And the fights beforehand were great as well.
Nobody really knows what they were, but yeah.
No, they were great.
Here we are.
Oh, although I have a new girl crush. Because one of the first fight was these 2 female fighters, and one of them's on Instagram. She's called Karate Hottie MMA, and she's really hot. She's genuinely really pretty. But then I kept thinking to myself, if that was my daughter, and my daughter was that good looking, and her profession was to get smashed in the face, I'd be so sad.
What a waste of that face.
Exactly.
Yuri. You should not be like, look at her sporting achievements. No comment.
Yeah. I mean, her face isn't messed up yet, so she's doing alright.
Nah, she's doing okay.
Okay.
Okay, should we bring on our guests?
Yeah.
Hello.
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 So,
You can talk now.
yes, you can.
It's allowed.
Was it hard?
Yes, very
It actually
difficult.
was. I was really holding back. I really wanted to contribute. But
You looked like you were doing quite well, to be fair. I was like,
I
they're having
I was biting my tongue,
Yeah.
obviously with my eyebrows nearly in my hairline. I do love
You were just
Budapest. I just want to comment that I have been to Budapest 3 times in 1 year. That's how much I love it.
Wow. Dedication.
Yeah, I do really want to go back.
100%.
You need to go back. You need to go back to the music festival in August. It's called Zagesh, but that's probably not how you pronounce it, by the way. But it's amazing. It's like 7 days.
Emma got food poisoning from a McDonald's van there.
Yes. Wait, hang on. They have McDonald's vans. Yes, a McDonald's van. I thought it was the best thing in the whole entire world until I was violently ill for a full day in a tent that we only had 1 sleeping bag between 3 people. So it was quite grim. It was the coldest summer that Budapest had had.
Oh, Jesus.
In a good few years.
Woo, Budapest.
And I'd still go back. So that's saying something. Oh god.
That is saying something, actually.
I really want to see a McDonald's van.
Yeah,
I nearly cried when I saw it because I thought this is going to be the best thing ever, and it was really close to our tent, but then I did not want to see it again. See, you've told me this and I still want to go. Yeah. That's just how good McDonald's is. It is, it's true. I had a McDonald's out there. Yeah. I have a thing where every foreign country I go to, I have to try their McDonald's.
That sounds like me and Alice.
Yeah. Because it's different.
It is.
Yeah, it's so different.
You have to get something different as well that you can't get in your country.
Yeah. So Bryan and I travelled together for 5 months, and so we frequented a lot of McDonald's, mainly at Bryan's insistence. There was one particular when we were in Japan where every time we were up early, we had to go and get a McDonald's breakfast.
In fairness,
Before I went away, I had never had a McDonald's breakfast.
Wait, hang on. You had your first McDonald's breakfast at 25 years old?
Yeah. Because I don't like you know what I'm like.
Well, now,
really fussy.
So in Dublin Airport, you can't get McDonald's past security, so I think that's probably why you have never had McDonald's breakfast. So you have to have it before you check in, before you go to security.
So you have to
so
be
I think
aware.
that's probably
Okay.
So you need to go early before you need to go, so you can get your McDonald's breakfast before you go to security. McDonald's breakfast is the greatest thing ever. You know, every morning that I come to work via Waterloo Station, I have an internal battle coming down the escalators of whether I'm going to go get McDonald's breakfast.
Because it's so strategically placed.
Yeah.
It's right there beside you.
Yeah.
It's really dangerous.
Every time. I had that this morning.
Yeah.
I resisted.
So I ate way more McDonald's than I thought I would when we were travelling through Asia.
She now loves it. Point of notice.
Did you have McWings?
No, we did have, when we were in Korea, we had chocolate chips.
Oh.
And the chocolate pie.
Oh,
they
my
were
God.
like an apple pie, but a chocolate pie.
They were
and it
insane.
was
That sounds delicious.
so delicious.
It was actually, because in a lot of the McDonald's we were in, they didn't even have desserts.
Yeah.
And then we got to Korea, and it was like...
I've only been to McDonald's in Korea once, and that was for the breakfast, because I go to Lotteria. Well, we'd call it Lotteria.
Oh my God, Lotteria.
Yeah.
Oh,
The rat place.
that place. Oh, yeah.
We went in there to go to the bathroom one time.
So that's where I would always get my burger in my fast food from Korea.
Oh, really?
Rather
Is
than
it better?
Oh.
Yeah, and also because they have more Korean specific burgers.
Okay.
So
Makes sense. We never tried it though.
No.
We stayed loyal to McDonald's the whole
McDonald's is great.
So much McDonald's.
I think McDonald's should be our next sponsor quest.
We have mentioned that a few times, but I do have the slight professional issue of that I'm supposed to be a nutritionist.
Everything in moderation.
To be.
People have lost weight eating just McDonald's.
Bullshit.
Also, have you watched Super Size Me, where he put himself into multi-organ failure because he ate McDonald's for every meal for 30 days? But all he
Touche.
ate, no, but he ate all the shit McDonald's stuff.
It's all shit.
Bullshit. If you look at the calorie count, they have salads. They have salads.
The shaker salads.
They have salads that are more calories than some of the burgers. Just don't put the dressing on it and take the cheese out.
So just have leaves.
Just basically spend £5 on leaves.
Okay.
So how do you guys know each other?
Me and our guests.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and these two's relationship.
Where will we start? Should I start with how I know them, or will I start how they know each other?
Oh God.
They shared a womb.
Yeah.
Yes.
We spent 8 months in a womb together.
Yeah. No. 7, I think.
No, 8.
We were meant to be born on
6
Valentine's
weeks, sorry.
Day.
7.5 months.
I love
In a
how
womb
though
together.
you keep looking at her as in like, how long was it? Can you remember? Can you remember? Fun times, eh?
So we met then. We've known each other since. The rest is history, really. And then
So they're twins, just in case
Yeah.
anyone's lost.
Yeah. It's not some weird thing that we inhabit
Some
wombs
weird
together.
human
No.
womb. Human-sized womb.
And just to clarify, we are not identical twins because that's impossible if you're a boy and a girl, but we do get asked that.
Common question,
Numerous-
very
numerous
common
times.
question.
That's really interesting. And we'll actually tie in nicely to later's papers.
I mean, to be fair though, you guys have the exact same face.
Did you think?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're sitting beside each other, you can definitely notice the similarities.
Yeah.
I think when you're apart, not as much.
No, yeah.
Do you ever, like, do people go up to you and be like, oh, you're this one's twin?
No.
I think no. If you see, I think it's usually when people only know the two of us, but we have two younger sisters, and we all look really alike. I think it's just like in our genes that we're all very
genes.
similar.
Yeah.
Like, you've got the exact same colour eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
Like,
all four of us
so
do.
similar.
Though all four of us have the exact same color
We have the same set, like our eyes are set the
Yeah.
same as well.
Fascinating.
But fun fact, all my facial features are slightly to the left because Bryan squished me in the womb. And when I came out, I was to the left. My head was to the left.
Emma didn't know this until my mum one day mentioned, "Oh, Emma, you know the way you're a little to the left." She's like, "What? What do you mean?"
And I can never look at myself any different now. All I can see is my facial features to the left. And you can especially notice it in my passport photo because I'm grimacing.
Bear in mind, it's slightly to the left. Don't be getting ideas. It's not very to the left.
We're going to have to post a picture of you on our Instagram.
Yeah. No, we're gonna have to. Well, no. First of all, please submit any drawings of what you think her face is like.
We'll get Emma to judge a winner. Okay, so now that we've gotten through how you know each other,
Okay.
how we all know each other. So
we
very
all know
obviously we're all Irish, so that's where we met. And when did I first meet you?
So
through Mira, through a mutual friend.
Yeah. So we went to university together, but we weren't in the
undergrad.
same course.
No. Bryan was in fact in a business course for like how long?
I have a tendency to change my mind about
Just a
things.
slight tendency.
A slight
Just a slight.
tendency. So I tend to start things and then 6 to 8 weeks in, I decide to change everything. So I started a business degree and then 6 to 8 weeks in was like, no, I don't want to do this. So I moved to science.
Yes. And never looked back.
And never looked back. Well, kind of, actually, yeah. We won't go there, but yes, did look back, then looked back again, and then, yeah. Anyway, I met Alice through a mutual friend in second year.
I think so.
Second year?
I think we probably met in passing a few times.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then I remember it was like the science ball of second year.
Yes.
Remember? And we all sat around
yeah,
the table
yeah.
doing the chin.
Yeah, the chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually my oldest memory of us.
Yeah, it is. Like
Yeah.
proper memory. I can't really
Yeah.
remember. I'm sure we did meet in passing a few times before that. Because I think I
Probably.
knew you at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my granny does this thing where in all of the photos, and I've got like 20 something cousins, most of them are girls. So she always tells us that in photographs we need to like put our chins in the air to keep everything nice and tight. More advice for herself than anything else. Bless her. But
It's a great tip.
it is a great tip.
Take,
yeah,
take that tip.
Everything
it's
looks
valuable.
nice. It's like a free
Yeah.
free non-surgical facelift.
Yeah.
So anyway, chin in the air. So then we all found this hilarious when we were a few bottles of wine in and spent the rest of the night doing the chin. So all our pictures are, you can kind of like hardly see our eyes and you get a nice view up our nostrils. So yeah,
It's
so that was
beautiful.
yeah. stunning. They come up in my time hop every now and again.
Yeah, there was one recently actually.
I feel like there was. Science ball was great.
Yeah.
So then we were kind of probably like better friends from that point, but still probably only like like friends, but like I'd probably only see you with our kind of group.
Yeah.
And then it got to like
It was
When
we
I
went
was
to
doing-
Asia.
oh yeah, so
That's-
in our
that's- yeah.
was that third year?
Third year, summer of third year.
Yeah, in
university.
Ireland most degrees are 4 years, so we
We
had
weren't stupid. We
we
actually
didn't
have
need
to stay
to
for 4 years.
Yeah, that's what everyone does. I swear. So yeah, then we went to a group of us went away for 5 weeks to Thailand, or well, you guys went for 6 weeks to Vietnam first, and then I flew out a week later, and we went to Cambodia and Thailand, and yeah, it was like 13 of us. It was insane.
A ridiculous amount of us.
But it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was.
That was a great holiday.
Yeah.
And then we've basically just gone on holidays with each other ever since.
Yeah, so we went to Sri Lanka together on our honeymoon.
Yeah, we were husband and wife.
We spent 3 weeks with only other people who were newly married. No, we weren't newly married.
No.
But only with people who were newly married.
Yeah. So it was us and newlyweds.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Sri
Lanka is a great destination if you're a couple.
It's great. You can get really strange massages in Sri Lanka as well.
Yeah.
We got a couple massage in Sri Lanka that involved like curried oil.
Yeah. So
which
we left and it was lashing raining, and even the rain didn't dampen the odor of curry coming off my hair.
Yeah, she put it all in Alice's hair. It was
my hair was like, I don't know, it had this weird quality to it. It was awful, and I just smelled like curry. It was extremely relaxing massage, but I felt I smelled like curry, so I had to go home and shower. But yeah, we went to Sri Lanka and for a while, for like 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
And then came back, and then I was doing a master's over here in London at the time, but then after Sri Lanka I moved back home for a year. Brian started a master's 6
to 8 weeks in. No. Change that mind.
So turned around and saw the opportunity to go traveling instead. And then we went away for 5 months back to Asia. Did that for a while.
Yeah.
And then now we're both in London.
Yeah.
And then Emma.
Yes.
I can't remember how I met you either.
I actually
Through
have
Brian,
no
or-
idea how we met.
No, I don't either. Was it with
so
Susie,
it must
Mira?
Be Susie, Mira, or Brian. So between
3 culprits.
Yeah, so I think it was just between mutual gathering.
Yeah.
Probably like our birthday party.
I don't think I ever
Birthday
went to a
parties.
birthday party of yours.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I thought I was always busy.
The truth comes out.
I wasn't even at. I actually don't think I've ever gone to one of you guys.
Because we always have
except
birthday
for-
parties.
I went to yours.
Oh yeah,
you
you
went
went
to
to
her
London
first
last
birthday
year.
party.
I went to
Yeah,
Emma's.
you did.
So
Yeah.
I've actually only ever been to, because she's
Just
my
my-
favourite
yeah.
twin, actually.
Obviously.
So yeah, I've been to Emma's. I've never been to one of Brian's
Yeah.
birthday parties.
I suppose it must have just been then events. I suppose.
I feel, you know, in college, just being social butterflies.
That's it. And
Just all
there was
over.
lots of dinners. I remember I kept going to people's houses for dinner.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where was that? That was
like
what was the
Lauren's and stuff.
I never went to any of them either.
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
No, did
never
you
mind.
How did I even meet
No, it
you?
wasn't dinners. Did I go over to Aoife's house for dinner?
Maybe.
I always dinners kept getting cooked for me, and I never actually had to.
And you
go
just
to dinner.
accepted.
So it was great. I got fed multiple times.
So yeah, we're from a group of friends that are very into food. Most of my friendships revolve around food. I know that's like the thing to say these days, but it's true. Yeah. I feel like our friendship's quite food-based.
Yeah.
And now stress-based as well.
Stress and anxiety and food based.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
They all
What
tie
more
in.
could you want in a friendship? So I don't actually know if we've ever said your names. So
Oh.
Emma and Brian. You could
With the
probably
Y.
with the Y. Yeah.
It's very important.
Indeed.
He used to introduce himself when he was younger as Brian with the Y. He'd
Yeah.
say to people, I was like, hi, I'm Brian. Brian with the Y.
Kind of like James Bond. Name's
I can see the
Bond,
resemblance.
James Bond. Name's Brian. Brian with the Y.
Smooth.
We'll see how that comes across, because the eyebrow raises really enhance that whole experience.
Yeah.
Relationship with science, Brian's already slightly delved into that, in that
Yes.
I do need to make an apology here. I invited 2 guests on, told Demelza and Curry that they were lay guests, when in fact they both have some small link to science. Maybe one slightly larger link to science than the other, as is always the case with our science guests, but this is a bit more... Anyway, I'll stop. So Brian, what do you do?
So I do have a degree in environmental science, but I changed my mind, and for 3 years,
6 to 8 weeks
6 to 8 no. So for 3 years, I didn't work in anything science related. And then I've just started a master's now in UCL in biochemical engineering. So quite sciencey.
So you've gone back to the science.
Yeah. But
Cool.
I've only been there a week, so it's still, I'm practically a layperson.
Yeah. So what did,
So what made you go back to science?
Question I've been getting quite frequently, but I was working as a recruitment consultant for the pharmaceutical industry, and I guess when I was in uni the first time, our uni was quite bad at careers.
Yeah, they weren't great.
So like I never knew what jobs there were in science apart from academia, apart from pursuing a PhD or like going into research. So I never knew that there was kind of more out there. And then this course that I've chosen has allowed me to combine the fact that I haven't been in college for 3 years and combine my background into kind of an engineering degree. So it's really interesting, really enjoying it. Yeah.
Good.
Nice. Emma.
Well, my career path hasn't been as varied as Brian's. I chose
The more
something.
decisive twin.
I chose something and stuck to it. I'm still here to this day. So I'm a nurse. I'm both a paediatric trained and a general trained nurse. So I'm working in Great Ormond Street at the minute on the cardiac ward. So yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you work on a cardiac ward.
Yeah, so
That
I
must
work
get
with all
pretty intense.
Yeah, it is intense, but it's actually really interesting. And it is all plumbing. So that's what I keep telling everyone. We have a new nurses to the ward, and I'm like, it's just plumbing. It's fine. You'll learn it. It's so easy. And then they're looking at me when I'm explaining the normal heart, being like, oh my god. I'm like, it's so easy.
So my sister was in a cardiac ward when she was young because she had that foramen ovale thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you get lots of them?
No, not too much because Great Ormond Street is like a tertiary centre, so that basically means that we take the weird and wonderful. And it's all
Oh.
referrals. So we have no emergency department, so it's all outside referrals.
Okay.
And we do get a few. We call it's the odd few, but I have only had maybe 3 or 4 patients that come through. We fast track them. We get them done like within 3 days, and they're gone.
Yeah, I remember my mum saying, because before Kate, my sister, had it done, she was really small and she didn't grow any hair because she wasn't thriving or something.
Yeah.
So they were saying like all her resources were being redirected to like vital organs kind of thing. But she was like fine, like she was a really happy child and everything, but she was just like way too like small. She even started walking when she was only like 8 months.
Oh, wow.
So it didn't slow her down in that way.
Yeah.
But anyway. Then she had it done and like recovered like that.
That's amazing.
And all of a sudden sprouted a head of curly dark hair. The rest of my family are all fair. Like I was like blonde as a child. Fake blonde now, but you know. But yeah, and she's had curly hair ever since.
And did she have her chest open?
No, she had it. She had it here, so she's got a scar like
There.
on her ribs, kind of under her arm. Yeah.
Very
So does no one else in your family have curly hair?
No, nobody. Like my mum,
That's
like
strange.
they all kind of have my kind of hair.
Yeah.
Like Jack, my brother, his hair now that he's grown it kind of long because that's the style
Oh, yeah.
for 16-year-old boys in
wow.
Dublin. It's like that whole like long on the top and then
Yeah.
like shaved on sides. His is like a little bit curly, but he blow dries it, so who knows if that's actually real. He's such a metropolitan man. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
So you get more like
Yeah, we get like
Exotic.
really strange things.
Yeah.
Really, really strange and weird and wonderful. So that's when you're trying to explain like some of the basic conditions. Because a lot of my job I do teaching kind of the younger or the newly qualified staff. So when you're trying to explain like basic conditions and then you go and like, oh, we'll just go through this patient, and then you're like, oh no, they have like 5
They're not
different
basic.
things wrong with them, so I'm gonna have to explain each one what they are, and then draw a diagram of what actually is wrong with this child because you can't find it on Google because there's so many different things that is wrong.
oh god.
So and they're usually like just sit and stare at me, and I'm like, okay, well I'm finished talking now. So no, but it's so interesting. Like you learn so much.
Yeah.
It's a crazy busy ward. The other day I didn't get my breakfast break until 20 to 1. I hadn't eaten. I was up since 6 a.m. I hadn't eaten a single thing.
Holy
I
Moses.
would to say I was hangry was an understatement. Yeah, but no, it's really good. I do enjoy it
Yeah.
for the most part.
Nice.
I suppose that's every job.
Yeah. Okay, so
Good edit it.
should we do some science?
I am editing it. Yeah.
Should we do some science?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some science. So I'm gonna go first this week because my paper's really boring and shit. So I thought I'd get it out of the way. Well, it's not.
Gary, you should be more confident. Don't put yourself down like that all the time.
Shut up. Well, I thought this paper was going to be a bit more interesting when I first read it, and then I
Okay.
actually read it and realised it's not. But
Don't worry, guys. My paper is going to be super interesting.
Alice's paper is genuinely interesting, so we're leaving her second. But we both picked twin papers.
It was just a
Friday.
coincidence.
Yeah.
You know.
So my paper, I'm going to start by reading the title. It's called "Do Twins Share the Same Dress Code? Quantifying Relative Genetic and Environmental Contributions to Subjective Perceptions of the Dress,"
Inverted.
inverted
Commas.
commas, in a classical twin study.
Oh.
So, do you guys remember in 2015 the viral? Yeah, I know. Was that long ago? The viral picture of the dress.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the dress.
The dress.
The
Yeah.
dress.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So,
I do remember the
what
dress.
colour was it?
White and gold.
White and gold.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, Samantha, what
Yes.
colour was it? Thank you.
White and gold.
White and
was-
gold all
White
the
and
way.
gold.
I never saw blue and
No,
black.
No,
Blue
I never
and
saw blue
black.
and black.
Blue and black.
Not once.
No.
No.
So I'm sure everyone who's listening remembers this viral picture of the dress, who no one could agree it was whether it was white or gold or blue or black, and it sparked up again a massive discussion for about half an hour in the office today.
It was a great half an hour distraction. The
Actually,
whole office got involved.
the majority saw white and gold, and there
Yeah.
was me and one other person that saw blue and black.
No, because there was a moment where the majority saw. I think there was 3 of you. Was there not?
Who was the third person? Oh, Kate. So okay, there was 3 of us that saw blue and black, and then about 5 people that saw white and gold.
Really? Because I thought when it came out, I thought that the vast majority were blue and black.
That's what I thought too.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because it actually is blue and black.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the picture of the real dress is blue and black.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but in that picture, it's divided
Yeah.
opinions.
So basically, I'm correct and you're all wrong.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's and Demelza, sorry.
And Mel.
Because the actual picture is blue and black. So what these guys did, after that dress thing came out, there was actually this quite a big burst of these people trying to figure out what was going on,
Okay.
including neuroscientists.
Ooh.
Because they were like, what is going on in the visual
Brain processing.
that is making people see things so differently. So what these guys wanted to see was whether that difference in perception is genetic or environmental.
Okay.
And twin studies are the perfect way to investigate the contributions of genetics and environment. Let's get into it. Okay, so
At this point, launch in with any questions. So do you have any questions about the title so far?
No, because I was confused. I thought, first of all, I thought it was about, like, do we dress similar?
Yes, oh my God. So did
And
I.
then I was going to be like, oh, well, Brian's quite stylish. I'm
Oh,
a bit basic.
I was literally going to say I'm more stylish.
God.
I love your relationship. It's so funny. It's literally Brian being like, yeah, I'm this and I'm this and I'm this. And Emma being like, agreeing with you.
wait, who's older?
I'm 8 minutes older.
But it doesn't
No,
translate.
No. So we all kind of laugh and say that I have the twin bond because I'm obsessed with Brian. I've gotten a little bit better now, but I used to be like worship the ground he walked on, which I've gotten a bit better
I'm
with
not
my
sure if
attachment
it's.
issues.
I'm not sure if it's worship the ground I walk on. You just seek my approval.
Yeah,
for
for your
everything.
approval, I'm like, yeah, probably.
It's like,
Yeah.
Brian, what do you think of this dress? I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Basically,
You're
but
just
if
a
he asked me,
lovely
I'll be like,
caring younger
yeah.
brother.
But if he asked me, I'm like, oh yeah, that's lovely. But he probably knows that he's more stylish, and I'm obviously the basic one, so I have to ask him.
As he just announced
Yeah.
on our podcast.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm coming across as a bitch. I'm not a bitch. No.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, so now I understand the title of
Okay,
this.
great. I thought though what we'd start with, I've printed off a little thing that actually explains, first of all, how do we actually see colour. So I think
Ooh,
that's quite
okay.
important for us to know before we dive into this paper. So basically, colour is not a thing that is inherent to an object, right? The surface of an object will reflect wavelengths of light, and what we see as colour are those wavelengths that have been reflected back at us. Some of them
Okay.
will be absorbed, some of them are reflected. And when an object reflects all of the wavelengths, that's when we see white. And when it absorbs all of them, that's when we see black. And that's why you get those people that are really annoying, you know, when you're like, what's your favourite colour? And someone's like, black. And they're like, well, that's not a colour, that's a shade. That's the reason why. And the whole visual system is considered to be a part of the brain itself. Although I've never actually heard that before, that your eyes and everything were considered to be part of the brain.
No, I didn't know that either, because I
No.
thought the brain was all cells and there was all just neurons and they were all connected together.
But there's a lot more than
I
neurons
suppose,
to a
well, I
brain.
suppose it's your optic nerve, so it's
Yeah.
not going into your
It's also
brain. So that's the
connected.
nerve. Well, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
It is a nerve.
So in your eye,
The
you
central nervous system, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So in your eye, you have rods and cones, and these are the different types of cells that reflect, that will, that are sensitive to light.
And isn't it rods are black and white and cones are, or the other way around, colour?
I think
Something
I
like
think
that.
cones are color. And these receptors will process the information that we're getting in your brain, and then it will give you a color. And that's it. Yep, rods mostly transmit black and white information to the brain. And in about 8% of men, they have impaired colored vision. It's color deficiencies, and in women, it's 1%.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So a lot of color blindness mostly happens in men rather than women. Okay, so that's how we see color. Right, so going on to the paper. So the main background is basically our own subjective perceptions of color are sort of the consequence of, one, the way your eye is formed, and they also think that it could be an environmental thing as well. So sort of how you've been raised and then what you've been exposed to will affect how you've developed, and that can affect how you perceive colour. But the thing is, the things like the dress raised so much interest because the two things that people were seeing were so different from each other. These aren't just different shades of the same thing,
Yeah.
these are literally completely separate colours.
Yeah.
So
Like, it's
and-
not like someone calling something brown and someone else calling it green.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, these are completely different colours. So everyone was like, what the fuck is going on? How do we explain this with the brain? So then they went to look into, these guys looked in a twin study. So they used a cohort in the UK called Twins UK. It's actually based at King's College London right here.
Oh.
And it is one of the largest twin databases in the world. It's run by a guy called Tim Spector. He started in 1992. And at the moment they have over 12,000 twins.
Wow. Why aren't we part of that?
Do you get
Oh my
paid
God,
as
you
a
guys-
twin?
You guys should do
You
it.
should totally
Yeah.
do it.
There's quite a lot of twin cohorts dotted around.
I think they started off like quite a few years ago, so most of their cohorts older.
1992.
Oh.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
of their cohorts I think
I mean,
was
it's
like in their
worth-
60s. So you guys should
Oh,
definitely.
okay.
At the moment, their age ranges range between 16 to 98 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is the biggest group of twins in the UK and probably one of the biggest in the world. So loads of people all over the world now use this cohort for their information, and I think it's one of the most comprehensive databases of information on twins as well.
Oh.
So the reason why it's so good for us to use twins for studies is because, one, twins will share a common environment to some degree. Not all twins, obviously, but for the most part, twins will have a very similar environment. And then monozygotic twins, so twins that have come from the same egg, will share 100% of the same DNA. Or genome, I should say, and dyzygotic twins will only share 50%. So you can then do some clever maths with those two to figure out what's going on. So they recruited some twins from Twins UK, and they showed the participants. They were shown a standard image of the dress displayed on a flat screen computer monitor in standard indoor incandescent illumination. Very important.
Just in case you were
Fancy.
wondering
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
what the conditions
So basically,
of the room
if
were
you were
like.
at home on Facebook.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not a very accurate measurement standard.
But that's how you would have seen it in your first exposure on your
Yeah.
on your
Oh, yeah.
laptop.
So it's meant to be
Fair.
like, you know, what you saw.
Yeah.
So what would be better?
I mean, it like saying, oh, standard. What did they say? Standard fluorescent
So wait, they
lights?
did give distances.
Oh,
Okay. But
Did they give ambient
I don't
temperature?
know. I don't know what these units mean, so I didn't say it. So they were okay. So let me go again. Participants
But
were
Brian
shown,
asked, so he must know what they mean.
oh, obviously.
Participants were shown a standard image of the dress displayed on a flat screen computer monitor. Open brackets. Luminance at viewing distance C100 photopic CDM to the power of -2.
That's what I thought. It's just clarifying.
Close bracket. In standard indoor incandescent illumination, mean luminance C40 photopic CDM to the power of -2.
Fair. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but basically I think we can assume that it's under standard fluorescent lighting
Yeah.
on a computer screen. And they were asked to name the colours they saw, obviously. If they said something other than white and gold or blue and black, they were then forced to pick one of the two answers.
Okay.
Which they
Okay.
thought would be the closest. And that was literally the whole experiment. They just got people in, look at this picture, tell me what you see. Some results that they saw was that 466 twins participated in the trial.
Okay.
The mean age of the twins were 49.5 years old, and 85% of them were female, because unfortunately, men are crap.
Ash.
Doing trials.
There you go.
And of that, surprising again, because this is what you guys were saying, 63.9% of them actually saw white and gold.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And didn't we look up today in the office that the percentage, was it from this or was it the general population? It was like 70-30.
No, it's from this.
Oh, from this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So about 70% of the cohort saw white and gold, and the rest saw blue and black.
Okay.
Which I thought it was the other way around as well, that more people saw blue and black than white and gold.
But actually, no.
But actually, they talk about other studies. It's really mixed. So there's studies where people have seen the same amount of both, and there's studies where people have seen more blue and black and more white and gold.
Okay.
So who knows?
Yeah.
And the other weird thing was that people that saw white and gold tended to be a lot older than people that saw blue and black. So the mean age of people that saw white and gold were 51.5 years old, but people that saw blue and black were 44.3 years old.
Oh.
And that was statistically significant.
Can we just clarify that we're young?
Yeah,
though?
we are young.
We're young.
And to be fair, Demelza would be the oldest in here, and she saw blue and black.
Demelza's like, thanks.
The next one is they wanted to see how much concordance there was between the twins, so how much agreement between the twins. And then from that, again, they can do lots of clever maths where they look at the different factors that can... So this is a trait. This ability to see one thing is called a trait. And the variation that you see in traits in a population can be broken down into 4 different things that might contribute to that. So one of those is additive genetic components. So these are genetic things that both contribute towards the same thing. We have the shared environment, non-additive genetic components, so 2 different genetic things that don't result in thing. And the unique environment. So for you guys, your shared environment would be your home in Ireland, and then your unique environments would be you in the hospital as a nurse, and then you doing your consulting.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a consultant.
I was a recruitment consultant, Alice. Yes, I was.
Continue.
It's in his job title.
True.
Give
Fair.
him credit.
Okay, fine.
And what they found was that the agreement between the twins was way higher in the monozygotic twins.
Okay.
So the identical twins had agreed on their answers a lot more. And then from this, they found that the additive genetic factors, so the genes that would contribute to the same thing, it explained the variation by 34%, which means that your ability to see these certain colours, 34% of that is explained by genetics.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
The rest of the 60-something% was just environmental. So that was the paper.
So have they explained why some people see blue and black and why some people see...
So because
Or is it just the genetic...
Because I didn't realise this paper didn't actually say anything, I then did my own Googling.
Thank God.
Yeah. I saw this quite interesting thing. Well, so one of the things that these guys also say is one of the reasons it might be environmental is because it depends on what sort of lighting you've been exposed to prior to seeing this image. So throughout your life, as you grow up, it depends what sort of lighting you're in more. So so if you're monozygotic twins who'll have more of a similar response to things, because if you have a more similar genetics, then that might explain that. They'll respond to all these different lightings in a more similar way in their development and their colour perception than compared to dyzygotic twins who don't share as much of the same genome and might respond differently to their shared environment of lighting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that was the example they gave. One thing that I saw when I Googled why... So at this moment, we still don't know why we are seeing white and gold and blue and black. One of the reasons they thought was that... because the picture, if you remember it, you have absolutely no context as to when that picture was taken. You'll literally only see the dress. And then the background is really high exposure, so you don't see anything. Which means when you look at this picture, you have no idea what sort of lighting it was taken in. Mm-hmm. So you will start making assumptions about what light that was taken in. Mm-hmm. So if you assume that picture was taken next to a window or under natural lighting, which is naturally blue light, you will start removing all the blue from the dress in your mind. Or your brain like will process it in a way that it will take away all the blue because it'll be like, that's just shadow. And then that's when you'll see white and gold. Whereas if you subconsciously assume that that picture was taken under yellow fluorescent lighting, you'll do the opposite. You'll start removing all the yellows and whites and see the dress as blue and black.
Interesting.
Yeah. So one of the things that they were saying in this, whatever I Googled, was that, this was not a scientific study. I'll just put that out there. One of the things that they suggested was that if you see white and gold, then you might be more likely to be a morning person. And if you see blue and black, then you might be more likely to be a night owl. Which makes sense for me and Demelza, because we are both night owls.
But we tested this in the office.
It didn't work out.
It didn't work
but
in the
you
office.
are a morning person.
I
and
am,
you see
yeah.
white and gold. What about you guys?
Yeah, I probably would be more. I like going to bed
Yeah.
early. I'm a morning person.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I do night shifts, but I'm very cranky.
I'd say we're both
But
morning people.
Yeah, definitely morning people.
Like neither of us were ever stay up late
No,
to study.
never,
Like always
no.
got up early.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
When
So
it
in
gets dark,
this-
it's getting to bedtime.
In this sample of N of 5, that theory holds true.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
So that was literally the study. I thought it was going to be more interesting than that.
I think it was quite interesting.
It wasn't. I don't really know what they were really trying to find. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think it's very difficult to explain that.
To be honest, my initial reaction when I saw the title of this paper was, this is what happens when you have too much time and money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone funded that.
Yeah, my second thought was, these people had access to this data, this dress thing happened, and they were like, holy shit, guys, let's see what's going on here.
Yeah.
And they just ran a few, because it wouldn't have taken them that long to just sort of do a bit of programming and pull all this data out. And then they managed to get a paper out of it. So, and you know, their whole recruitment and study wouldn't have taken very long. Get people in, look at a computer screen, tell me what you see.
Yeah.
Quick and easy.
So their main conclusion is that they support that there is a significant genetic contribution to which colour you're seeing, but environmental factors may play a bigger role, which not surprising.
So we still don't know why.
We still don't
some
know.
people see
No.
white and gold and some people say black
No.
and...
Mystery.
So in June, my supervisor was saying that there's a new one out at the moment of a cupboard,
No.
which I haven't seen. Apparently some people
cupboard.
see it as black or something, and some people see it as beige.
There was a noise one.
The Laurel and Yanni.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. I
The
can't
thing is with
remember
that
which
one, I think
heard.
it was, you can hear both.
Oh.
If you concentrate on hearing one, you can hear that one, and if you concentrate on hearing the other, you can hear that one.
Oh,
And also,
okay.
apparently, it depends on whether you're wearing headphones or you listen to it just normally.
on a speaker.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I've also heard that it depends on your age. So because they're different frequencies.
Yeah.
So if you're older, you'll hear one. If you're younger, you'll hear the other.
Oh.
But with the dress, things like the dress, you literally cannot make yourself
See the other one.
the other
No,
colour.
you can't.
I was
see
trying
that.
to today by flicking my head away from the screen really fast and really quickly, and it wasn't working. And I
Science,
was
everybody.
I was trying to make myself think synthetic lighting, and it still didn't work.
Oh.
So yeah, no.
But we were saying this in the office. Sometimes I do often think, right? And you were
Oh,
saying
yeah,
this
yeah.
too. What if
I used to wonder this
you
all
have-
the time.
You have no idea if what someone else is seeing is what you're seeing, right? So
Yeah.
what if my idea of blue is actually someone
Oh,
else's
yeah.
idea of like red?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Because you're just
So
showing something.
if our eyes see colours differently, but we all
Yeah.
call them what we know them
Yeah.
as.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
That is
Doesn't that blow your mind?
It's actually blowing my mind right now.
Doesn't
It
it?
does.
Oh my
so like,
God.
you know the way I'm like, you
So,
guys
like-
have blue eyes, but what I see as blue eyes, you might see as what I would see as pink or something.
Yeah.
But you would know it as blue.
You have no
This
idea.
is crazy.
You
That
literally.
it is crazy.
That is
Isn't it?
crazy. Yeah, but we've all just gotten to call.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's all
yeah.
like
It's all relative.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, which reminds
That's
me,
wild.
I read another theory for the environment thing. You know, so this paper mentioned how if you're exposed to different lightings throughout your life. Another one said it also depends when you were learning colours, in what context you were learning colours. So if you were shown, say, a picture of an apple, depending on what lighting you saw it under or on what sort of paper, your perception of colour might be different according to that.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that might explain the difference of when some people think one thing's brown and one
Yeah.
thing's green. That could explain that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is getting me so confused.
Do you think
Are you
Are
okay?
these the colours that I've been thinking? Like, I'm like, am I seeing something completely different?
Do you think that's why, you know, the way when you respond like emotionally to a color, that's why people's emotional responses are different? Or like, you know, when people see like
Is that more
blue
to
as
do
like a
with-
warm,
I think,
like cozy
isn't that
color?
Maybe they're
People see
seeing
blue
yellow
as
or something.
cozy.
Yeah,
Isn't
like
blue
the
cold?
sea.
I think cold, yeah.
Yeah, cold. I think
Yeah.
a blue is sad.
Orange I
Like,
see
yeah.
is kind of cozy.
I'm like, you know, when you're sad, I'm like, I'm feeling blue.
Yeah.
I think it's a very
I've
apt
got
description of
the
when you're
blues.
feeling
I think
blue.
brown.
I
is
think
the
blue's
colour.
quite a happy color. Though when you actually think of blue,
Well, I suppose blue is the sky, and then
Yeah.
sea, you like swimming in the sea.
Yeah.
But not everyone likes swimming in the sea. Some people see the sea as cold and dangerous.
Okay.
I think blue is generally sad.
Yeah, blue is
yeah,
generally
I know that, but like I'm just saying, like
I also think I heard that blue is meant to be a trusting colour. If you see someone, if say you saw a doctor wearing a blue tie, you're more likely to trust them than a doctor wearing a different
So is
colour.
that why most uniforms in a hospital setting
blue.
are blue?
Yeah.
That
And
could be
all
very
scrubs
interesting.
are blue.
or do people feel that way because uniforms are blue?
Oh. Chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
other thing is, so you know my research poster for my trial?
Yeah.
The reason I picked green was one, because it looked best in green, but
It's a nice poster.
but people associate green with food.
But
So,
food.
so for like a lot of food
Yeah.
marketing will be green.
There is a lot of green
there-
food packaging.
That's true.
Because that's what people associate with
Yeah,
food and
especially
health.
healthy
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially,
green.
yeah.
Another completely probably irrelevant fact. My auntie, so my mum reads so many books and so do all my aunties and they all swap books. And my auntie has realised that my mum only buys books with blue covers.
Oh,
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Maybe it's because she trusts them more.
Going back to the blue, and you know the book blue is the warmest color.
The
No.
book? Is that a book?
I think it's a book, is it?
It's a movie anyway.
I've never heard that.
I think it's a book.
It's an interesting
Anyway,
movie.
we all perceive blue differently at this table.
Okay.
I think cozy is more like brown.
No.
No, that's like poo.
That's just because you look at poo every day.
Every day.
Lovely.
Although actually, we should all be looking at poo every day, really.
Yeah, you should be.
We all do,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very informative about your health.
Yeah, I always check my poo.
Yeah. Sure, check your poo.
Yeah.
I would see orange as cozy or like different combinations.
I
Autumn
see-
colours I think are quite
Yeah,
cozy.
like coppery.
Yeah. Hues
Okay.
hues of orange. Anyway, back to the science. So, I had a really fun time searching for titles for today. A few of my favorite ones were things about the chances of twins. What was it? The psychopathic
Yeah.
traits in twins and things like this. They were all cool, but I chose this.
Wait, hang
one.
on. Did you read anything about that? So are twins more likely to be psychopaths than
It was
non-twins?
really heavy on statistics, so
okay.
it lost me about 3 lines in. It was really heavy. Anyway. So the title of my paper is The Relationship Between Twin Language, Twins' Close Ties, and Social Competence.
Oh, that is interesting.
So, any thoughts on that initial title?
I actually don't really get it.
So is it just like how we interact with people, basically? Or do we interact very similar?
Not similar within your twin pair, but as in, do twins act differently? Do twins have different social competence to, they call non-twins singletons? So the rest of us here in the room would be singletons.
Oh,
So for the sake of the explanation, if I ever refer to singletons, I don't mean people who do not have another half. I mean people that were born who had a womb to themselves.
Okay.
Basically. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool? Okay. So yeah, it's basically how twins, what their social skills are like in comparison, their early life social skills, so when they're children.
Okay.
In comparison to singletons.
Oh,
non-
that is
non-twins.
interesting.
Yeah. And they want to see if there is any difference between twins and singletons, and if this difference is mediated by twin language or twins' close ties. So they think it's something that's going to be, that it's the really close relationship between twins
Yeah.
that might have an impact on their social competence in
Okay.
comparison to people who don't have a twin. So just
Okay.
single people.
Okay.
Single children.
Can I
Yes.
have a hazard a guess
Hit
at
me.
the outcome?
Yes, go on.
I think as children we would have been more socially competent at an
completely.
earlier age because we spent all our time
Really?
together. Like when you think about it, like socializing in your age group,
Yeah.
you would have only done it at school.
Yeah.
Like you might have had a younger sister or an older sister or brother,
Yeah.
and like but still like not in the same age group. We were the exact same age,
Yeah.
socializing 24/7 with each other.
And
So they call that the twin situation.
Yeah.
So it's that unique situation where you have, they do. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So that you've got a really unique situation where you're exposed to like companionship with
Yeah.
someone of the exact same age as you, like from birth.
Do you know what? Wait, can I, before you go, I would actually, because in my head, I would assume that it'd actually be the opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
I like how you guys keep answering at the same time. It's very twin.
because I think twins have this special connection, right?
Yeah.
Where you will, and it will kind of go into it with this.
Emma's like, yeah, we do.
the twin bond.
Mine's like, what?
And I think with twins, that bond gets so strong that you actually struggle to then bond with other children.
Oh.
That's what I would assume.
Oh, that is interesting. But I think we were just. I found that we were quite social, I think.
I think so too. It is interesting that you say that, and I do understand that.
It'd be
There's
interesting
also
if your mom
different-
was here.
Yeah, it would be really interesting
yeah.
what she would say.
Because because obviously this paper used, as I said, it was school age children, so
Yeah.
they were between 6 and 12, I think.
Okay.
They asked the mothers, so the mothers filled out the questionnaires in
Okay.
this
Yeah.
paper. So all the data was like the mother's judgment of their children,
Okay.
kind of,
Yeah.
or like what they perceived.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting if your mom was here, because then we'd be able to see what she would have said about you
Yeah.
guys when you were.
So
I
there-
suppose
young.
it was definitely different over ages as well. I think you kind of go through phases, especially you spend so much time together as well that you
Yeah.
also want to not spend time together when you're in a situation with other kids.
Yeah.
Because, like, but I get that that's different. Like, I suppose
is.
that was more us.
Yeah.
And that's, we fought a lot as, like,
Yeah.
teen, like, prepubescent teens.
I wonder if it contributes that you're different genders as well.
I think
Yeah, I
so
think
too.
probably
Yeah,
does.
Because
because-
we have a set of twins that are the same. Well, we actually don't know.
I would assume so.
They
Yeah,
definitely
but
are identical.
no, but
So this is
Mira-
interesting.
No,
Cool.
Yeah,
I know,
this is
but,
really
like-
interesting because this is something the paper gets at,
Yeah.
that actually you can get zygosity testing. So the only twins they know for sure are boy-girl twins. 'cause
Yeah,
you can't
of
be.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually there can be a lot of uncertainty around whether like any other boy or girl combination. Sometimes
Yeah.
they think, and also you can be misinformed at birth. So one of
Yeah.
the things you can be, that the doctor would say, is if they have the same placenta, so if the umbilical
Yeah.
cords are coming from the same placenta, they're obviously monozygotic,
Yeah.
so identical.
Yeah.
But actually, if they're coming from two different placentas, they can actually still be
Yeah.
identical.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it because in this paper as well, they had to cut a good handful of people out from their final analysis of my paper because they couldn't be sure
Yeah.
of
If
their
they were,
yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
actually a lot more. So even though they might have been told that they're not identical,
Yeah, they could
They
be.
they could be.
Yeah, which they probably
They need
are.
to
probably
get
because they're
tested.
they are
literally
They're
exactly
so
the same.
similar.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
so
But my point back to them was that they were much more a twin connection or whatever
Uh-huh.
by themselves,
yes.
whereas we
We were always kind of siblings. Do you know? I think we always
Yeah.
saw ourselves as siblings rather than
twins.
twins.
Yeah.
Whereas they were always like twins.
Yeah.
You know, they were
Or
kind of
twins.
grouped together.
Because I think I think a lot of the girl twins I've met,
yeah,
they've always been a bit weird.
like really like
They're like really
Yeah.
Twin
close.
thing.
Yeah, like really, really close, and they would struggle to be apart from each other. and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So this is really interesting because it's all stuff that this paper touches on.
Yeah.
So basically what they did was, it was conducted in Japan. So they used a cohort called it was like a club with all what was it? The Twin Mothers Club Japan.
Cute. Ooh.
Yeah. So they used this club and they sent them all a questionnaire in 1999. So basically it's the biggest cohort of twins in Japan. So they all register and they got sent this questionnaire in 1999 and then they got sent a follow-up questionnaire in 2004. And I think something like about over 1,000 of them got sent the original questionnaire and then I think 500 of them sent back the 500 of them that would have sent back the original questionnaire
Yeah.
also sent back the second one. So that was how they, that was their kind of sample size. So then when they excluded people for various reasons, they were down to 261 twin pairs.
Damn.
That's quite a lot of twins. So what they did was they measured the twins' close tie, whether or not they had twin language, and their social competence. So because these kids were between 6 and 12 years of age at the time of the follow-up questionnaire, so they would have been 4 years previous, they would have been between 2 and whatever that maths is. 2 and 8 years of age at baseline. The mothers answered the questionnaires for them, and we'll go through those questionnaires soon because I think it'd be interesting to do them on you guys. Yeah, they measured all these qualities based on what the mothers answered, and then they also wanted to see whether if you had, so they hypothesized that twins that had a close tie would be more likely to have a twin language, and that these two things would decrease their social competence. So more like what Kiri was saying, that they wouldn't be as sociable if they had such a close bond, because it would be more like insular, I guess, that they would just kind of stick to themselves, especially the case for twin language. Have you ever heard of twin language before? Or more importantly, did you have one?
No, we definitely didn't have a twin language.
So
No,
funny.
100%.
Yeah, no,
no.
we definitely didn't.
No.
Even like
It'd
when
be
you're...
interesting to ask Mum though,
Yeah,
it
because
would
there
be,
could
yeah.
be
Because they said a lot of
things
it
that we don't
disappears.
know of.
Yeah, they said
Yeah.
a lot of it would have disappeared by the time you're 3.
I'm
So
sure
it's
during-
usually when you're super young.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure during like toddler stage when you could barely speak, you would babble to each other. And
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah,
as
yeah.
all toddlers would do.
But you guys would probably actually be able to understand each other.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so that's like
yeah.
the definition of a twin language. I got so into this, it's really interesting. They say a twin language is defined as a language that is unique to each pair of twins. It cannot be understood by others, including their parents, and it is used between twins exclusively in specific situations. So they might only use it when they're playing, or when they're in bed before they go to sleep, or during meals.
You see that a lot, right? You see those videos. Have you watched those videos of twin babies like babbling to each other
Yeah,
in their cots
yeah.
before they go to sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
they-
it's highly possible,
It
actually.
could well
like-
be, yeah.
So in this cohort, it was something like, I think out of the 261 pairs, 47.9% of them were reported as having a twin language. So that was 125 pairs.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, and so they broke it down. So they got information on whether they were monozygotic or dizygotic, so identical or non-identical, and then also if they were the gender of the pairs, so female, male, male, or male, female. And the highest rates of a twin language were in monozygotic females, so identical girls had 63.6% of them had identical language, which is funny because you were saying all the twin girls you know are weird. And then
That's not surprising though.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
even within, sorry,
no, go on.
because even within different age siblings, the sisters tend to have a much more
Closer
bond. relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the lowest rate of twin language was in you guys.
Us.
The dizygotic
Oh.
male females.
It's not surprising.
No, not really.
No.
Because I guess you are, of all the twins that you can get, you're the most different.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was still 42.6% of them had twin language.
Which is still
Which is
a
like
lot.
almost
yeah.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so what they did is they got the questionnaires at baseline and follow-up, and then they did lots of statistics and correlations and things to see was there a relationship between the close twin bond, the presence of a twin language, and how good they were in social interactions with other people. So, how they measured these things. So, first of all, close tie, they use this thing called the consciousness of twins. So, it's kind of a framework. So, it can be, consists of different factors. And these are, number one, there's 5 factors. So, number 1 is the non-specialization of possession. They use this phrase, specialization quite a lot, and as you can tell, I struggle with it quite a bit. So I'm going to stop using it because I don't actually think it gives anything to the description. So it's basically possession, and each factor was evaluated by 3 questions. So like for instance, for this one of possession, the kind of questions were: does the twin tend to share toys with the co-twin, or does the twin try to occupy toys? So a higher score indicated a closer relationship between twins. So for instance, if you were asked, does the twin tend to share toys with the co-twin? If you were to say all the time, they'd get a higher score, which would mean they were closer.
Yeah.
So that was how that one worked. The next factor was called non-specialization of action. So we're just going to call it action. So the kind of questions they asked to evaluate this were: when the twin's mother carries the twin, does the co-twin come closer, or does the twin rarely come closer? So if they said, oh, it always comes closer, that's a higher answer or a higher score. So that would be that the twins were closer, because obviously they always wanted to be closer together.
Yeah.
In their actions.
Yeah.
So the first one was they wanted to always share things in terms of possessions. Second one, closer together in actions. So with possessions, did you guys fight a lot, or can you even remember?
Not about possessions.
Were you nice
I
and
don't
sharey?
think. I think we
No,
were always
I
quite good at
think-
sharing.
Yeah, I think when we were young, we were very good at like
Yeah.
sharing. We were both. I actually think we ranked quite highly on that.
Yeah, I'd say we
from when
probably
we were
did,
young.
yeah.
Interesting.
Because we were always together. We always
Yeah.
played together, and I never remember. We never really had fights about
No.
possessions.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I'd say we did share our possessions quite a
Yeah,
lot.
we played
Interesting.
together a lot.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
time.
And then with actions, can you remember any of that? Like, would you always want to
No,
be
I
together, or
don't.
were you grand without the other one?
No, no. This is not when I was younger, but I remember I used to have a problem with sleepwalking, and so sometimes
Disturbing.
Yeah,
problem.
disturbing. I used to run down the stairs, and I'd be like, Mum would come out, and she'd be like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Where's Brian?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of the time I'd be looking for where Brian is.
Oh,
But
but that
also
was, like-
trying to get out of the house
house. Yeah.
while
God.
asleep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it was all a bit strange.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to say you would have scored highly for possession. Not quite sure about action. Might have been more weighted towards Emma.
Yeah. And that could well be the case. I would not be surprised.
I'll say, judging from everything we've heard about you guys so far, I wouldn't be surprised.
So then the next one is called non-specialization of emotion. So we're going to call it emotion.
Yeah.
And this was evaluated by questions such as: when the co-twin does not stay by the twin, does the twin get worried a lot, or does the twin never care about it? So this was again kind of
Okay.
I feel
I
like
guess
it's
Quite
again,
like action.
yeah, but I think action is more it's action.
Yeah.
physical
yeah.
movement.
So I think this one with emotion as well, it might be another question could have been like, oh, if one twin is upset,
Does the other,
would the
yeah.
other twin get upset too? That
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That is definitely relevant. Like if you're sad, I remember if you were sad, I was sad.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's true.
Not the other
but
way
like,
around.
but no, but
Concerned
like,
about
but-
your emotion.
But do you know, well, like you wouldn't really remember that then. Like I always remember Mum and Dad saying that you used to cry for food, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't. When you cried, I wouldn't
Yeah.
cry for food.
Yeah.
Maybe I just let her do the work for me.
They'd have to wait. But they would always have to wake one of us though. One of us would cry. It wasn't always me.
Yeah.
It was like either
Well,
one,
yeah,
one or
yeah,
the other would
yeah.
cry for food, and the
Yeah.
other would be woken to be fed.
Okay. So that one doesn't apply to, it sounds like that one doesn't really apply to you guys at all then.
But I do remember emotion.
Could be other
I do
emotions
remember
as well,
emotion.
then.
Like I
Yeah.
would be very conscious if Brian was sad, and I would feel
Sad too.
sad. Yeah.
I just can't remember.
I feel
I
so-
do
Before
remember.
the
I
age
do
of
remember that.
22.
I feel bad for you in this relationship.
In this
But I'd
twin.
always have a feeling if something wasn't right with you though. I always will have a feeling, but I have a feeling with everyone in the family though.
So yeah, it's
Just
kind of
so-
strange because it's like there is a distinguishing thing between it being because you're twins or it being because you're family.
Yeah.
You know, because
yeah.
you are a caring person,
Yeah.
so you notice these things and
And
all.
I'm not.
And Brian's a heartless bitch.
So
Well,
I'm
yeah.
caring.
No, you are caring, but I think I have more intuition. I can just feel, I can sense if something's wrong before
Yeah.
it actually
But
is
I
wrong.
know when something's wrong with you.
Yeah,
in
but-
a second.
Yes, so like that, I know when
Yeah.
something's wrong with you as well. So it does. But
But
I
is
would
it
know if there's
because
something
you're
wrong with
twins
Michelle.
or because
But
of your family?
would you know if there's something wrong with Michelle or mum or dad?
Yeah, no, it's definitely family.
It's a family thing. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's necessarily a twin, but I would be stronger towards you. I think.
Yeah, I think I would.
But is it because we know each other more?
Yeah,
Because we've grown
we
up
spent
with
more
with
time with each
together.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the twin situation.
There's the
There you
twin
go.
situation there.
Okay, so the next one is partnership of involvement. So this factor was evaluated by questions like, do the twins try to do everything together or do they do most things separately
See, we did everything together because we went to school together.
in your youth?
The only time we weren't together is when we went to university.
Yeah.
We did absolutely everything together.
With friends and everything.
Oh, we had the same
So
friends.
we were
Okay,
same
yeah, so
friends.
you guys would have scored
Yeah.
quite highly in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that would indicate a closer relationship. And then partnership of defense. So this factor would have been evaluated by questions like, when the twin is teased by others, does the co-twin try to protect the twin or does the co-twin ignore it? the twin.
I
I don't
would
know which
protect. You would ignore.
That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. You know that's a lie.
Family feuds going down.
No, but if you're the teaser, you'll continue to tease.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah, I suppose.
This
Yeah.
is external, so this
Yeah.
is
Oh,
not
sorry,
if
this
he's...
is not a friend group. Oh yeah, no, not that. Then we would have defended each other. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, nice, guys.
She's sailing me
Oh
down
no,
the
I thought you were
river
talking about
there.
if it was like your friends and you're just getting a bit of slagging. And Bryan would join in a bit of the slagging.
But that's,
But I
suppose
would
that's
too.
kind
I
of...
would too.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's just
No,
banter.
this would be
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. This would be like if somebody was really like being mean to
Oh,
you.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if
yeah.
like in the playground when you're
Yeah.
6 years
Oh,
old,
yeah,
if
no,
someone
no,
came
we
over
would
and was
defend,
trying to be
yeah.
really mean to you. Yeah. Cool. So it sounds like you guys would be like
Pretty close.
yeah. You'd have quite a close tie. So then yeah, they measured that. That was how they measured the close tie. Then for twin language, what they did was they just asked the question, do your twins have an original language? And then if they said yes, they asked could it, or they had the caveat that it had to not be able to be understood by either the mother or other people. And if they said yes to this, they asked whether the twin language was words or sentences. So sometimes it can just be like blah, or other times it can be like more like a more structured thing. And then also the situation in which the twins use the language. So whether it was at night, at meal times, if it was at specific times. And then the age that they first spoke the unique language between the twins, and also its duration. So as I mentioned, they think most traces of twin languages will go away with 3 years. I have heard that in some cases they need speech and language therapy to get rid of it because it's so strong.
Yeah.
And because they just don't learn. Also read an interesting thing when I was kind of looking into this further, that they said that what it normally is they think an imbalance in the language development in one of the twins. So that twin might be a bit more behind in developing language. And then the other twin, even though they will be at a normal pace in developing language, they will be able to recognize what the other twin kind of is trying to achieve with their later developed language. And so they'll just start talking the same as that twin. And that's how their language develops. Yeah. So I'm also listening to a really interesting podcast at the moment. It's like kind of like Serial, but it's Australian and it's about a murder case.
Yeah.
And it's basically like I'm not doing any spoilers here because this is in the blurb. So if you went to read it, you would not find out any more than what I'm about to say. So it's like a guy who murders his wife and then is having an affair with this schoolgirl. He's a teacher in the school, but he's a twin, and it goes into all the evidence and all this stuff, and they had a twin language and they needed speech and language therapy to get it corrected. And also, they're a bit fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you tell me about this before?
Yeah,
Or
I think I probably
yeah.
did because I'm really into it. It's called The Teacher's Pet.
Yes.
Really
yeah.
good. Really, really good. But they've got like, they would be scoring off the charts at this twin closeness. There's all weird shit going on in their lives. They like did everything the same. They both had 3 daughters. They built houses like right beside each other. They moved. They were both sports teachers. Both played rugby. Both moved at the same time.
Weird.
Very
That's
freaky.
weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Anyway, back
I mean,
to
you
the
did
science.
follow me to London, so.
And you are now
Anyway.
training to be a nurse. So, so then they also, how they measured social competency was they used another framework called the Stability of Social Human Relationships framework. So this was again assessed by various different questions. I think they used 12 in this case. So the different factors for this were sociability, home adoption, and school adoption. So for sociability, this was evaluated by 12 questions, and it was just general questions like, is he or she very shy in public? Does he or she have few friends in general? Does he or she like to be alone better than with a number of children? Does he or she like to be at home and not like going out very much? So this would have been answered on each individual twin. So the mother would have completed 2. And with this, it was a scale where it was 2-point scale, so yes or no. So you could get a highest score of 36 or a lowest score of 0 for each factor. And a higher score indicated imbalance in social relationships. So a higher score would mean worse social relationships, and a lower score would mean better social relationships.
Okay.
So then they also asked questions they wanted to find out about zygosity. And as I said before, when I mentioned about it being actually kind of tricky to figure out, other than male-female dyzygotic twins, for other twins, they might be told that they're identical, but they actually might be non-identical, or vice versa. In this, they classified zygosity using a question that they asked the mothers, which was basically, they said, we asked whether the twins were as alike as 2 peas in a pod. And if the mother said yes,
scientific.
they were monozygotic. And if the mother said no, they were dizygotic. But it then goes on to say that previous studies have indicated that more than 90% of twins are diagnosed correctly for their zygosity classification using this question.
Yeah, and by their mothers as
Yeah.
well,
So
I'd
mum was-
say.
Yeah, so it's the
know.
fact that their mother is answering the question.
Yeah.
And obviously then automatically male-female pairs would be it sounds weird saying diagnosed as dizygotic.
Assigned.
Assigned.
Classified.
Classified.
Yeah.
Yeah. Classified as dizygotic. So yeah, you can take from that what you will. So yeah, these are the things they found out. So they had information about how good they were in terms of their social abilities with other people, if they were mono or dizygotic, if they had a twin language, and if they had close ties with each other.
Yeah.
So the difference being the close ties were with each other, and then the sociability being with the other people. So then they did all these, as I mentioned, cool and interesting statistics and correlations. And what they found was that in terms of close ties, they looked at the different groups. So they looked at monozygotic twins that were female-female or male-male, dizygotic that were female-female, male-male, or male-female. So they split them all up. So identical twins scored significantly higher for close ties than non-identical twins, which we kind of said.
Yeah.
And then also female pairs were more likely to have close ties than male pairs.
Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, this wasn't significant, but it was like a trend.
Yeah.
So yeah, we also called that one. So then in terms of social competency, again with the cool statistics, so what they did with these scores was they converted them to ranks, which don't ask me to explain because I don't enjoy explaining these things. But basically, if they ranked, so the rank was out of 36. If they ranked lower than 30, there should be concern regarding that trait. So, for instance, in terms of sociability, so the kind of questions here were, do they like to be alone more than with others? Do they like to stay at home or go out? Or do they have few friends? Things like that. So, non-identical females were the least sociable. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Non-identical females.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah, very surprising.
So there was 62% of them were lower than 30.
You'd definitely have thought it would be the identical females.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then what they're saying, or what that says, is that close ties doesn't mean you're necessarily
Identical.
So
socially.
they go on, basically, we're going to go
competent.
through all those.
Okay, sorry.
No,
You're
but
jumping
you
the
are.
gun here.
Yeah,
Bryan.
jumping.
I see where you're going though. And then identical males were the most sociable.
Oh.
What's the rank in between? Do we know, like,
What do you
going
mean?
from most to least?
So it's kind of confusing. That's why I'm trying to stay away from the ranks, because
Okay.
basically what they're saying is like, so 62% had a rank below 30
Yeah.
for sociability. So this, and this is non-identical females. So that means 62% had a trait that should be regarded as concerning.
Yeah. I
So-
got you.
But like I'm going kind of like I'm going back from negative to positive. So that's why I'm trying not to go through ranks.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
I'm completely lost. Just keep going.
So we're saying,
But
yeah.
is this not, are all these results not the rank or the percentage of
I think Brian's asking who
things
came second
under
and third.
30? Yeah. If you got me.
Oh, so I'm
Yeah.
only reporting who was the most and who
Yeah.
was the
Who was the
least.
least.
So
Yeah.
what was
That's
the-
all they give us.
Oh.
okay.
Or, well, that's, so hang on, there's a whole big table, but I didn't really go into that because that's boring.
It's fine.
Do you want me to go into
No,
the
that's
table?
No, you're fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I was just thinking, like, does it follow trend in terms of, like, dyzygotic females are the least, then dyzygotic males, then,
Yeah.
like, it'd be interesting to see whether the zygosity,
Yeah.
whether it was zygosity or male-female that was more prevalent in the ranking of it.
Yeah, true. Okay, so actually it is here. So the non-identical females were least sociable. Next would be the non-identical opposite sex.
Oh, so
Okay.
it
That's
is.
you guys.
Maybe it is zygosity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next would be identical females. Next is non-identical males, and finally identical males.
So
Say
the
again?
males are more social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
But I don't think that's that surprising because I think female twins in general would be closer.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
that's,
saying.
Yeah,
that's
the
true.
outside,
yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Also, I wonder if it's because with dyzygotic twins, you grow up more like siblings, and then you're more likely to have separate.
But you guys were still saying
Yeah.
what you described
Yeah.
seemed as though you did have quite a close tie.
Yeah.
So, but all will be revealed. Well, not all, but like there is things that explain it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, and then in terms of home adoption, so basically it came out that non-identical males were home birds. They all were very much into being at home, didn't like to leave home,
This is so weird.
were more comfortable at home.
And then they were the most social.
Sociable.
No,
That's so
identical
weird.
males were the most sociable.
Oh,
this is
sorry.
non-identical
okay,
males.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
But I know, like, my mum would always say that when I've got a sister and two brothers, and she always said that the boys were much more
Homey.
clingy and, like, wanted to be with her and things.
Is that just because they're the
Than the
youngest
girls.
though?
I don't
I
think
don't know
so.
what you were like as a child. Were you clingy?
Yeah.
I didn't think we were necessarily very clingy to mum or dad when we
No.
were, because we had each other. I don't think we were clingy to mum and
That's the
dad.
close twin tie.
I don't ever been like,
But
because
this
Michelle was clingy to mum.
Yeah.
because this is actually...
But then actually that makes sense with what this then so makes sense with what they're saying. How
So home adoption is questions such as, do they care about their parents going away very much? Are they inquisitive about their whereabouts? Do they seldom talk about events at school? Do they like anyone in the household very much? Or dislike?
yeah, my kids hate me.
So anyway, moving on. School adoption, so how comfortable you were at school. Dyzygotic opposite sex, you guys were the worst.
Going to school.
And
Okay.
these questions, not at going to school, so the questions were things like, are they sometimes unwilling to go to school? Are they quiet at school? Do they not get on well with teachers? Do they often get teased?
Okay, but I wonder if that's just they're having a normal school experience with having a bit of a shit time,
Yeah.
like trying to make new friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas the identical twins go in having this really close bond with each other, the closest bond with each other, and then they don't have to worry as much about making friends with others and trying to
Yeah.
fit into
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
So these ones are, not gonna lie, they're kind of a bit all over the place. Then finally, in the social competency scores, they say that another finding was that there was a correlation between the twin scores for all of these. The correlation for identical twin pairs was greater than any of the correlations for non-identical pairs, and this suggests that social competency might have a genetic basis. So that,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so dyzygotic, so within the pairs,
Yeah.
the monozygotic were more likely to have the similar
Yeah.
social
Yeah.
competency
Yeah.
than
The
dyzygotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Leading towards a genetic base. Can I just touch back on the school adoption? Because I have a reason why it might be that opposite sex are the worst.
Yeah, go on.
When we were kids, all through years growing up as kids, we always got teased by people saying, "Oh, do you kiss each other?"
Oh.
Because we were opposite sex. And I think that could have something to do with
You know
it.
what? I don't remember that
we would
at all.
Do you know-
I
Maybe
have
you
no
traumatically
recollection.
constantly,
Yeah,
I remember it
really?
constantly, absolutely constantly, as like young kids.
That's awful.
Kids are a bit
Literally.
fucked up,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Kids are really fucked up.
Jeez.
Just when you
Awful.
said like about teased and that
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
like an
yeah.
aspect, like
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
because we were twins,
Yeah.
we got teased because of that.
Yeah.
Or I wonder, similar lines, less pervy.
Yeah.
Was that, you know, in school, as you're growing up until secondary school, there's this big divide between boys and girls.
Yeah.
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 So if you're then these siblings that have come in that are boy and girl and you're spending all
Yeah.
your time together, then
Yeah.
maybe it's
I
kind of
suppose
like,
maybe,
yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
That is actually very interesting. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a very good point.
Yeah.
They actually made a comment about that somewhere, about how when you're young, it's like you're friends with girls and boys are friends with boys.
Yeah.
And that when you get older, it's slightly different because mixed sex relationships are normative, so like
Yeah.
normal. So that is, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. Cool. Oh, also just to mention that twin language is... Oh, actually, I'll say this when we go into twin language because we're going into that next. So, yeah. So then they did some correlations to see if the effect of having a twin language or if having a twin language had an effect on anything. So they found that close tie had a really strong positive correlation with twin language. So if
Yeah.
they were really close, they were more likely to have a twin language, which kind of makes sense. And twin pairs that had a twin language were more likely to have maladjustment to social relationships. So basically, twins that had a twin language had lower social competency.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what they've shown is that they said their most important finding is that that twins would have a close tie had no effect on social competency
Okay.
directly, but the effect was via having a twin language.
Oh, okay.
So if you had a twin
Interesting.
language, even though that twin language might have, at the point that these questionnaires were filled out, the twin language might be gone.
Yeah.
Because the twin language usually only lasts until 3 years of age.
Yeah.
So it might be gone, but it would affect your social competency later on.
Okay.
Okay.
Please, could you repeat the main point? I was distracted by silent Demelza nearly sneezing.
The most important finding was that twins close tie didn't affect social competency directly. So it wasn't close ties. Like these guys being close wouldn't have affected their social skills. But it did so through the twin language. So they had to have a close tie in order to have a twin language, but they didn't have to have a twin language in order to have a close tie. It was the other
Okay.
way around, and that explained
So the
maladjustments to
the
social.
twin language is what then messes you up later on.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's just because the twin language suggests a delay in development.
Well, yes, they also pointed out that something that can delay language development is being born prematurely or low birth weight, which twins are more likely to have. So yeah, could be. But also there is that point that they make that usually a twin language develops because one twin is developing their language.
Yeah, no,
more
so
delayed
that's what I
than the
mean.
other
So
twin.
if you have your own twin language, that suggests that there's some sort of developmental delay going
Yeah.
on there.
For
Yeah.
one of them.
No, for both of them.
No, because the other twin will be developing language.
But that's what I mean. But the other twin is still digressing
Yeah.
part of their language to fit with their other twin, right? That's not a normal way of developing.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that is why then it leads on to social
Yeah.
issues
Yeah.
later on,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just the fact that they have this twin language.
Potentially.
Question.
Yes.
Do they address at any point in the study the presence of other siblings?
Yes. So
Oh, good
they did,
question.
yeah.
Okay.
They wanted to see if there was any effect of having an older sibling specifically or preschool attendance. So if you
Okay.
went to school when you were at that age of like 2, 3 when
Okay.
this was supposed to kind of be rearing its head. And there was no effect.
Okay.
So it wasn't, there was
Interesting.
no effect of having an older
Alice.
sibling.
Because I would have said, my thought on it was that we were closer because we didn't have any older siblings.
Yeah.
That when Michelle was born,
Yeah.
I don't know, we were probably less, like we were very much a 3
Yeah.
in a lot of ways
Yeah.
growing up. So I don't know,
But
it's weird to
all-
think that if there was an older one ahead of us, would we have been as close?
But also, Brian, we went to crash
Early.
early
Really
because
early.
Mum went back to work really
Yeah.
early. We were
Yeah.
like 14 weeks and we were in crash.
Mm.
So we were socialized with children our own
Yeah.
age from a very early
True.
age. So I don't know if that affected our
Yeah.
obviously affected our social ties because
Yeah.
we were always surrounded by kids our age because just of
Yeah.
our.
I also wonder if having an older sibling would have affected anything anyway, Because I think if you had an older sibling, you're more likely to still just be your twin pair and leave out the older sibling. Whereas if it's a younger sibling, you're more likely to feel like you should be including them because they're younger than you.
Yeah. But then does that not work both ways with the older sibling wanting to include
But I think the older
siblings?
sibling will find it harder to get in between the twin
And also
bond.
they're used to being by themselves.
Yeah.
So they've been themselves until then, we arrived
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So when they thought, like, around their hypothesis that having an elder sibling might interfere with a twins bond or twin language, their kind of reasons for this was they thought that playing with an older sibling might increase the opportunity of using the mother language, which is normal language. And communicating with friends of the older sibling also. And then in terms of also having an older sibling and attending preschool might diminish the twins' exclusive relationships. So it'd be diluted basically.
Yeah.
But then and that the twins' close tie would become weak as a result of spending time and communicating with an older sibling, friends, or preschool teachers. But then that it had no effect.
Yeah.
in their
Strange to think that it didn't, isn't it?
Very interesting. I want to ring Mum now and ask if we have a twin language.
Yeah.
It's
You
super
guys should do
interesting.
that and then email us.
Yeah.
So twin language is also known as cryptophasia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cryptophasia.
cryptic. And then phase is always to do with language.
It's Greek,
isn't it?
and I think it means something like secret something.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, but I think aphasia is always to do with
Aphasia
language.
and speech. Aphasia is
Yeah.
used to do with speech. So
It must be. It's probably secret language.
Secret language,
Greek,
yeah.
There you go.
That's interesting.
Secret.
Did you guys ever do bubble talk at school?
Do what?
No.
Bubble talk.
Bubble talk. And like, it was a language that everyone at school knew, so we could speak about things without teachers knowing.
No.
And so like you would
No.
extend the syllable by 2 extra syllables, but starting with an L or a G sound. So it'd be like, hello would be like hello gallo.
Oh,
I heard some of this
Yeah, I've never.
couldn't do it.
I've
No.
heard of things similar to that, but I've never spoken anything like it.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's all over the schools. and-
Yeah.
Did you have it in Cornwall? Did you have any secret languages?
In Cornwall. To be fair, that's like a whole language.
Yeah, true.
Is it? There you go. They don't use a secret
I
one.
never knew that. Ever. Wow.
I think this is Emma's favourite thing that she's learned on the podcast today.
Oh my god, that's wild.
Your mind's been blown so much.
So
today.
much between this and colours. Oh god.
So, any more questions? Any final thoughts on any of the papers or anything you've learned today?
I thought they were really interesting. I really liked the social one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
really
love the
interesting
twin
to
language
think.
thing. I got really into it.
And it's interesting thing. I'd love to now ask Mum how we were
Yeah.
as kids and
Yeah.
how we interacted when we were really young.
Yeah.
But I do remember being very like self-sufficient. The two of us would just go and we'd play even with like a cupboard and tins. Do you remember? We used to like take tins out of the cupboards and sit in cupboards. And
I think that's
like,
all
we,
children.
We very
Yeah.
entertained, but we never needed. We were always just the two. We played together.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Cute.
Yeah.
See, you just can't remember most of it. Like
No,
a
you
lot of
can't.
what
That's
we're
true.
saying
Yeah.
is based on things our parents
That's the
have
thing.
told us.
It'd be
growing up.
interesting for your mum's perspective on when you were toddlers.
Yeah,
very
exactly.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have gotten your mom on the podcast.
Yeah.
No, she's
She
here
Bring
next
her
week.
right now.
She
Her
would
on speakerphone.
absolutely
She'd
love
love
it.
to.
She'd be in her element.
Thank you so much for being
Yeah.
our guest this evening.
I have a
Thanks.
question that you probably get quite a lot as twins.
Uh-huh.
Do you have that weird thing, like the telepathic
No.
shit, when you're like, if
No.
one's in pain and you're far
You
away?
used to always
get
say it.
I used to always get it. I always would know if there's something wrong with Bryan.
Even if you weren't near each other?
Yeah. I used to.
Lies.
No.
Absolute lies.
No. I wouldn't know. I know that there was something not right. I always used to get it. No, definitely.
Like what? When?
No, but like I just know, like if you were like sad or.
But was that after seeing me?
No, I specifically remember there's sometimes that like I hadn't seen you and I knew that something was wrong. Do you remember when you got bitten by the dog? I knew something was wrong with you before you came home.
That was a very dramatic moment in my life.
Quite
I was
scarring.
walking home from the train station after school. I was what age was I? 13?
We were only in
14?
first year school, and I
13.
don't know why you came. We were made to bloody sports, weren't we?
Yeah, you were in hockey or something. So
I
I
was home before you. I was
so I was
distinctly, so
doing
you must have been doing
basketball
basketball. So I remember being home before
Yeah,
you.
so I walked home from
Yeah.
the train station and a little dog like a very little dog.
Sorry, Louis Walsh's brother's dog.
Oh.
That's
Do you know who Louis
defamation.
Walsh
You're
is?
gonna have to
Oh
bleep
yeah,
that
you'll
out.
have to bleep that out.
I
Sorry.
can't believe we just asked if we know who Louis Walsh is.
Well,
X Factor.
is he on the main one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's no Irish X Factor.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
don't know why I thought that. Can I use
So you're
the
gonna have
tissue?
to take that out of the podcast.
Anyway,
Why?
yes, very small dog.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the most dramatic, like, probably one
But
of the
it
most.
was raining as well.
It was
so
raining,
added to the
but
drama.
I
Yes,
was so
walk
dramatic.
home.
So I walked home. It came up to me, bit my leg. It was a bite, but it was a small bite. Like, it did draw blood, but like, I mean, the blood wasn't pouring.
No.
It was very much just like dripping a tiny bit. But I got home and I stuck the key in the lock. I was drenched from the rain. Stuck the key in, opened the door, and literally collapsed in the door. I was like, help! Help!
So,
Because
right,
my phone had
Can
run
we
out of battery.
put some context to this? So my poor mum did full-time nights, so she do 7 nights on, 7 nights off. So she's in the middle of her nights. We had this lovely family friend called Betty who looked after us, and Betty was probably in her late 60s,
Yeah.
early 70s.
No, God, 60s.
She's 80 now,
60s,
60s. She's in her 60s. So poor Betty was looking after us all while Mum slept, and she always was trying to be conscious that make sure Mum got enough sleep. So anyway,
Yeah.
in this commotion comes, and then so.
But you didn't know that before.
No, I had a feeling before you came home. I was I remember telling Betty that I was concerned about you before you came home.
Concerned.
No, I distinctly remember saying, I was like, I don't think there's something not right with Bryan. No, honest to God, I do.
Interesting.
I think it was more when we were spending all our time together. Because obviously now, like,
Yeah.
go for days
yeah.
without or weeks without speaking.
Yeah.
Whereas I think when we were spending all our like, you kind of just know.
Mm.
But I used to get feelings all the time. Do you not remember I would get a feeling and I'd ring Mum?
I
And
feel
something would
like-
be wrong.
But I think
Or-
you like I do think sometimes though you always think something's wrong with somebody,
Yeah, I probably always think there's something
and
wrong,
it's
and
just
then
that
it's just
sometimes
I am
it is right.
Yeah, well, that
Anyway.
could be it. But I would argue that that I would have a little bit of it. But
Yeah, no,
obviously not
yeah, no.
perfect,
There
not
have
me.
been times that
Yeah.
I've noticed that about you, but like
I wouldn't say it's not all the time
no, and I don't think it's
necessarily
definitely-
twin.
Yeah.
It could be just
So
people
does that
close
answer
to
your
me.
question?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
Sorry, that was a bit of a rambling.
If anything, I feel like Brian's gonna leave here with like sibling remorse, like twin remorse. Be like, God, I was such a dick as a twin.
Was I that bad?
No.
Our teen years were bad.
Our teen years were very bad.
Because we had this exact same group of friends and we fought like no tomorrow. Like siblings do
Yeah.
when you're teenagers anyway. But because we were in the same group of friends, our friends used to get really annoyed at us because
Ooh.
our like fight was a normal sibling fight, but our friends would see it as a friend's fight.
Right,
yeah.
So it would be really serious. Whereas like 2 minutes later we'd be like,
yeah.
But
where's-
also-
do you have that in my locker? Let's go get it. Or like we'd
Yeah.
just like roll over fights, whereas
But-
our friends would never be able to let it go.
Put into context, we were sharing a very, very small room. I was on a camp bed
Yeah.
while we were 15 years old. Like, Brian could stick his foot out and it would be my face.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
how
Which
God.
I
He
did
just-
several times.
So that, you know, we spent all our time
Yeah.
together, like literally 24/7. So of course you're gonna fight like cats and dogs.
Especially
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
those mid-teen
Mid-teens,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
So with all your hormones raging.
That's a pretty intense
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
was.
Yeah.
So, it's been fun.
Thanks for having
yes.
us.
Did
Thanks
you
for
learn some
coming.
stuff? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I did. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
So we're running out of friends. How would you feel about coming back someday?
To do more twin studies?
I mean,
We
yeah.
could do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you want to.
sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Definitely. I'd definitely come back.
Yeah, cool.
You
Great.
just have to promise to cook that chicken thing with corn flour instead of potatoes.
Do you want to tell the story?
We never talked about our food, actually.
Oh yeah, we ate food.
We did. We had dinner.
It was yum.
It was quite delicious.
Alice
It was
made,
really good.
Alice made a Thai peanut chicken,
With some lumps of potato starch.
which were actually kind of tasty lumps.
Curie likes like chewy consistencies though.
I do.
so-
I quite like weird consistencies.
You do,
of
yeah.
food.
Yeah, me too. I love
Yeah.
a
Brian describes his
consistency.
favorite consistency as food you don't need teeth to chew.
I actually
Oh, I quite enjoy that too.
I love
do
like
mash.
mushy
Like,
food
have you ever
can-
had spam?
No,
No,
never have.
But you love the Frankfurters that are super processed and you don't really
yeah.
need your teeth.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
spam's not like that.
No, I know it's not, but What
I'm
else
kind
do
of
you like?
more
Mashed
like
potato.
I remember I used to volunteer for Meals on Wheels, and like
Oh
people
my
who
God,
couldn't eat
yes.
solid food, we used to put the whole meal in a blender, and like whenever I tell people that, they're like, ew, but like
You were like,
Do you know what it reminded me of? Your little lumps of potato starch were kind of like little lumps of like chicken cartilage.
You love things
But
like
I quite
that.
like that.
Or like marrow.
I'll like eat the whole thing.
Oh yeah, me and Curry shared a roast chicken
It was so the carcass was so clean.
when
by
we
the
were at
end
a
of it.
pub quiz the other day, and it was so impressive watching her eat the carcass. She literally at one point stuck her entire fork into the carcass and picked it up, and I thought she was going to start like gnawing on the bones. She didn't exactly. She used her fingers, but you know.
I just cleaned the whole chicken.
The whole
Sometimes I look at people and the way they eat chicken, and I'm like, you could literally get a whole meal out of everything you've left on that chicken.
She was sucking on the bones, and then I was like, we are the perfect pair because I only eat the white.
Yeah.
I only eat the white meat.
And I eat everything
and
else.
she only eats anything but the white meat. Or everything but the white
Breast
meat.
is the worst part of the chicken.
But I love it.
Yeah,
me too.
Delicious. So, cool.
Right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
us.
having us.
Glad you had a good time. Closing words.
If you want to read our
Oh, yeah.
blog.
It's a bit behind, but Demelza is coming up towards the end of her PhD, so we need to give her some passes for that. She'll be catching up
So
slowly.
kind of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you owe us in the future.
Please pray for us for the next episode because Silent Demelza won't be here. She'll be in San Diego, fucking bitch.
Jerry's really jealous because she could go too, but not really.
Yeah, I was maybe going to this conference and I decided not to, so I could focus on my work.
Such a saint.
Yeah.
So, if you want to read our blog, you can read it on Laid Out Podcast, layitoutpodcast.wordpress.com.
If you want to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, we're on @layoutpodcast.
And if you want to email us, you can do it on layitoutpodcast@gmail.com. Correct.
And McDonald's sponsor us, please.
And CoFresh, if you're even still listening, you can feck off.
No! Yeah, fuck CoFresh.
And don't forget to send your drawings of Emma to the left, please.
You can also send them to layitoutpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
A winner will be announced in 2 weeks' time.
What do we give them? What's the prize?
They can come on the podcast.
Okay, cool.
Or,
As long as you're not a weirdo.
yeah. We need to do a full security background check, which you need to pay for.
Okay, bye!
Bye-bye.
Bye!
Bye.
Bye-bye. Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You ready?
Are we recording? Yes.
I'm just gonna sneeze.
Go for it.
No, I can't sneeze.
What am I trying to say? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No.
Oh,
So-
I actually got a whiff of your foot.
I'm just going to check that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.